Chosen one. What you are about to hear will set your spirit on fire and shift the course of your life forever. If you have found this message, it is no accident. God Himself has guided you here because something extraordinary is awakening within you. This is the moment where God unleashes your millions, where you ascend to a new level of power and prosperity. Do not doubt that you are chosen, because if you were not, you would not be drawn to these words at this precise time. Stay with me until the very end, and your life will burst into transformation in ways you never thought possible. You may have been overlooked in the past. You may have faced hardship, rejection, or days when your bank account made you question your worth. You may have lain awake at night, wondering why blessings fell on everyone else's doorstep while yours seemed barren. But hear me now. God is about to unleash your millions. The abundance you have secretly prayed for, the financial breakthrough that felt so distant, is racing toward you with unstoppable momentum. This is not simply about stacking dollar bills or chasing wealth for its own sake. This is about stepping into your divine inheritance, recognizing that the Creator of the universe is your provider, your strong tower, your ultimate source. Pause this video right now. Hit that like button as an act of faith, subscribe to declare that you are part of this unstoppable wave of blessing, and leave a comment with the number 777. Why 777? Because that is the number of completion and divine perfection. By typing 777, you're signaling to the universe and to your own spirit that you are ready for God's unleashed abundance. You may feel a stirring in your heart, a trembling in your body, because your soul knows that everything you've prayed for is about to burst open like floodgates under heavenly pressure. Chosen one, you were never meant for small blessings or partial favor. You are an heir to the kingdom, a co-creator with the divine, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can bar the door once God throws it wide. Imagine a life where your finances are no longer a source of fear, but a channel of freedom. Freedom to sow into causes that matter. Freedom to uplift your loved ones. Freedom to pursue your calling without the chains of lack weighing you down. Can you sense the electricity of possibility in the air right now? If you can, it is because your spirit is already bearing witness to the truth that God's unstoppable favor is marching straight into your circumstance. When God decides to elevate you, no force on earth or in the spiritual realm can contradict Him. You're about to rise into power beyond anything you've envisioned, because when God's hand is upon you, no mountain stands too high, and no valley sinks too deep. Chosen one, your trials were never meant to destroy you. They were preparation for your coronation. Every tear you shed in private, every disappointment that cut you to the core, served as the refining fire that molded your spirit. Did you think God would let all that pain go to waste? Impossible. He has been orchestrating your steps, allowing obstacles to become stepping stones, forging you in the heat of adversity so you'd be strong enough to handle the weight of overflowing riches. Because once you receive those millions, you'll need the foundation to manage them with wisdom, with grace, and with compassion. Money in your hands is about to become a kingdom instrument, no longer a stress or a burden, but a symbol of God's unwavering promise to supply every need. This is your clarion call. Stop thinking small, stop viewing yourself as unworthy or unqualified. The enemy has tried to whisper that you are not capable, that your dreams are laughable, that people like you don't ascend to these heights. Enough of that lie. God did not breathe life into you just so you could scrape by, apologizing for your hopes and limiting your own potential. He has called you as a beacon of light, someone who, by stepping into abundance, shows others that the God of more than enough is still alive and working miracles. This new wealth, these millions being unleashed, are part of your testimony. Others will see your transformation, and they will know that God's power is not a myth, but a living reality. I can feel how some of you are wrestling with doubt even now. You hear these words and part of you leaps with faith, while another part shrinks back, recalling past failures. Let the old defeats fall away. Let the past remain in the past. Your tomorrow is not a hostage to your yesterday. God's about to pour out blessings that cause you to forget the pain, overshadowing every disappointment with a surge of divine favor. You do not serve a fickle God who only blesses the perfect. You serve a God who exalts the humble, who takes the overlooked and seats them among kings, who transforms orphans into heirs. This is not a prosperity gimmick or a hollow motivational speech. This is an impartation of truth that you can latch onto if your spirit is open. There is a massive shift happening in the spiritual realm right now. You see, the enemy thought he could keep you bound by worries, by generational curses, by the criticisms of those who never saw your potential. But a chosen one cannot be held down. No chain can last when God's voice declares your freedom. And so here you stand, at the threshold of greatness, with new authority vibrating in your very words and presence. Chosen one, do not keep this good news to yourself. Let others know that God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. That means if he could raise Joseph from the prison to the palace, he can raise you from your financial desert into a promised land of plenty. That means if he could turn David from a shepherd boy into a giant-slaying king, he can elevate you from overlooked to overflow. That means if he could feed a multitude with 5 loaves and 2 fish, he can multiply your resources until they surpass your wildest comprehension. The old stories in Scripture aren't distant myths. They are living, breathing demonstrations of what God can and will do. I want you to comment 777 right now if you dare to claim what is rightfully yours. In doing so, you're not performing some empty ritual. You are putting your faith into action. You're saying, "Yes, Lord, I am ready, I am open, I am willing to receive." Remember, faith without works is dead. One small act of faith in a big God can detonate a miracle that echoes across generations. Perhaps you're the one who will break your family's cycle of scarcity. Perhaps you're the one who will sow into ministries, build shelters for the homeless, raise up the next generation of trailblazers. Whatever it is, your prosperity is woven into a larger tapestry of purpose. Stay until the end, because the concluding revelations of this message carry a fire that will burn away every lingering doubt. You might be tempted to click away, to return to your everyday routine. But your everyday routine is precisely what's about to change. Repetitive struggle is not your destiny. You were created to thrive, to ascend, to reign in the territory God assigned to you. And if you can endure just a little longer, if you can hold on to the promise just a bit tighter, you'll see the sudden flip where everything works in your favor. Hear me. The seeds you've planted in tears, the seeds of diligence and faithfulness, are about to blossom into a harvest so abundant that you'll marvel at how quickly God works. One moment you may feel stuck, and the next, doors fling open. People who once ignored you will be knocking at your door. Opportunities you never thought yourself worthy of will greet you like old friends. Because when God unleashes your millions, it doesn't trickle, it floods. And it's all for His glory, shining through you, a beacon to those who still wait in the dark. If your heart is pounding, if something inside you screams that this is your turning point, then give God your yes right now. Comment 777 as a declaration and smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to keep fueling your spirit with messages that uplift you, because we are on this journey together. You're not alone. Countless chosen ones around the globe are waking up to the same clarion call. Rise to power. Our synergy, our collective faith, magnifies the wave of blessing. Imagine millions of hearts aligned with the same unstoppable truth. This is not the season for passivity. It is the season for dominion. Maybe you have felt unprepared to handle large sums of money, afraid you'd mismanage them or you'd lose focus on what truly matters. But let me tell you, God wouldn't release what you couldn't handle. He's been preparing you all along, even through your failures. He allowed certain relationships to end because they couldn't go where you're going. He let certain ventures collapse because they weren't the platform for your next level. It all makes sense now. Even your heartbreaks have been stepping stones on the pathway to abundance. Chosen one. Your external shift will mirror your internal transformation. As you believe that you are worthy, as you recognize that the same God who parted seas and made walls crumble is guiding your finances, everything aligns in perfect unity. Abundance isn't just about money flowing in, it's about you standing tall in your calling. The moment you decide to wear the crown of purpose, the gold that finances your mission arrives. No more second-guessing, no more shrinking back to make others comfortable. If you were meant to stay hidden, God would not have planted such enormous dreams in your soul. There is a wind of favor blowing, opening massive doors in the spirit realm. Hear that whistle of promise telling you it's time. The old regrets are dissolving like morning mist, replaced by an expectancy so vivid you can almost taste it. The entire universe is resounding with the echo of your ascent, urging you to shake off every limiting belief. Can you sense that holy momentum gathering around you, weaving your name into unstoppable blessing? That is the pulse of God's creative power, the same power that formed galaxies, now focusing upon your life, your destiny, your finances. Do not be surprised if opportunities arrive like lightning, if phone calls and emails come in out of nowhere, if the people who once doubted you start praising what you do. Do not be surprised if your bank balance begins to reflect the unstoppable growth that's happening inside your soul. But do not become arrogant either. Humility keeps the door wide open for God to pour in more. Pride slams it shut. Remember that you are blessed to be a blessing, a steward of heavenly resources. If you hold these millions with open hands, they will flow endlessly. But if you cling with a scarcity mindset, you might watch them slip away. Chosen one, nothing is beyond you now because nothing is beyond the God who made you. Your name is being ushered into rooms and conversations that will change your life forever. Divine connections are forming, bridging the gap between where you are and where you're meant to be. What once seemed far off is about to manifest. When you look back, you will scarcely recognize the older version of yourself who used to think small. You'll stand in awe at how swiftly your story was rewritten when you aligned your faith with God's plan. Keep listening, keep your heart open, because we are only beginning to unearth the treasure that lies within you. Every second that passes, you move closer to the manifestation of those millions. At this point, giving up is not an option. Stopping short would be like leaving a gold mine after uncovering only a handful of gems. Press forward. Speak it out loud if you must. I am chosen, and I rise to power through God's unlimited abundance. The spoken word carries creative force. Prophecy over your own life. Reprogram your mind to expect blessings, to expect breakthrough, to expect the deluge of favor. Again, if you haven't commented 777, do it now. This is not a childish game. It's a symbolic act of agreement in the spiritual dimension, and if you have not subscribed, do so at once. You think you stumbled upon this message by chance, but your spirit was guided here. This is your safe harbor, your place of faith renewal, your daily reminder that you have not been forgotten. Because, chosen one, your rise to power is imminent, and the first step is to hold on to every promise that resonates within this message. Feel that electric current coursing through your veins. That is the tangible presence of the Holy Spirit, awakening the fullness of your destiny. God's infinite creativity does not end with the stories in ancient texts. He's still writing epic tales of victory, and guess what? You are a central character in this unfolding narrative. The tapestry of your life is rich with purpose, and the golden threads of finance are being woven in to ensure you have everything you need for the mission. Do not fear the magnitude of your calling. God never sends his chosen into battle unequipped. At times, you might sense the jealousy of others who don't understand how swiftly you've been elevated. They didn't see the nights you spent crying out for change, the mornings you woke up determined to keep fighting. They judge your harvest but do not know the tears that watered your seed. That's okay. Your story isn't for them to validate. It's for God to vindicate. And he is vindicating you right now. As sure as the dawn follows night, God's favor follows your faith. Keep pressing in. Keep declaring that your time has come. Keep believing that God unleashes your millions for a purpose so grand, so life-changing, that it can only come from the one who rules heaven and earth. Chosen one, the journey you're on is far more magnificent than you might realize in this moment. Yes, God is unleashing your millions, but that's just one facet of the colossal destiny waiting to be revealed. Your life is meant to radiate influence, to become a kind of lighthouse in a world often cloaked by darkness and doubt. Even as you stand here on the brink of your transformation, there are layers upon layers of purpose ready to unfold. Every day that passes is another step closer to your glorious unveiling, another crack in the walls that once stood between you and your true greatness. Do you sense a stirring in your spirit when you consider how far you've come? Reflect for just a moment on those seasons when you thought you couldn't survive another day. Think of the moments when your prayers felt like they were hitting the ceiling, never to be answered. In the natural, everything looked impossible, and the enemy whispered that God had forgotten you. But look at you now, still standing, still believing, still poised for breakthrough. That wasn't by coincidence, it was divine orchestration. God was carrying you through every trial, refining your character, honing your vision, preparing you to steward these supernatural resources that are about to flood your life. The blessings that come with being chosen aren't just random gifts meant to temporarily dazzle you. No, they are strategic tools placed in your hands to forge a legacy that will resound long after your earthly journey is done. Imagine entire communities transformed because you had the courage to invest in solutions. Imagine families lifted out of generational poverty because your faith-driven generosity started a ripple effect. Imagine the hearts you will restore simply by standing tall in your calling, proving to those who watch from the sidelines that the same God who elevated you will elevate them too, if they only believe. Chosen one, if you haven't taken the time to type 777 in the comments, this is your prompt. Not because it's a ritual, but because it's a symbolic way of saying, I'm fully present, I'm fully engaged, I'm fully expectant of what's to come. There's something profound about putting your faith on display for the whole world to see, even if it's just in a comment section. You're effectively declaring to yourself, to heaven, and yes, even to the enemy, that you stand on the unstoppable word of God. People might question your sudden surge of confidence. They may not understand why your voice has a new ring of authority, or why you seem so unshakable in the face of adversity. Let them question, let them be curious. This is part of your testimony unfolding. For every question, your answer will be a testament to a God who specializes in turning underdogs into overcomers, the marginalized into mighty warriors. Your life is about to be a living sermon, one that doesn't even require words to impact souls. When they see the shift in your finances, your health, your mindset, and your relationships, they'll know it has to be divine. Human effort alone could never produce such a profound metamorphosis. As God unleashes your millions, keep your heart tender and your eyes open. Opportunities will come swiftly, but so will responsibilities. You'll find that with each blessing arrives a chance to enlarge your capacity for love and humility. Suddenly, you'll be in rooms you never dreamed you'd enter, conversing with influencers and decision-makers who can open doors for you to fulfill your highest calling. Don't shrink back. Remember, you were chosen for exactly this, so that no platform is too large, no audience too grand, no dream too ambitious. Your God is the author of universes, after all. Stepping you into a higher realm of influence is effortless for him. Now, there may be days when the magnitude of your new reality feels overwhelming. You might wake up and wonder if you're truly equipped to handle the blessings being poured out. In those moments, remind yourself that God would never set you up to fail. If He's given you the platform, He's also given you the grace to manage it. When doubts creep in, return to that secret place of prayer and surrender. Let your spirit drink from the well of divine reassurance. Sometimes the only answer you need is the gentle nudge in your spirit that says, "I am with you always." You are not just on a solo mission. All around the world, other chosen ones like you are awakening to the same realization that they are heirs of a limitless kingdom. In your moments of uncertainty, know that you have brothers and sisters in faith who are also stepping into new territories, blazing new trails. When we collectively move in faith, the atmosphere changes. It's as though a wave of glory covers the earth, turning deserts into gardens and broken dreams into bright futures. You are part of that wave. Part of this unstoppable momentum that's been building and is now culminating in your personal upgrade. Let your words be full of hope. Let your prayers be bold. Let your imagination run free with the possibilities of a life untouched by lack. When you speak, let it be from a place of deep conviction, because conviction is contagious. People will gravitate to your light, seeking answers, seeking to understand how you broke free from the constraints that once bound you. That's your opportunity to point them to the source, to show them that what happened to you can happen to anyone who dares to believe. I can sense in the spirit that many of you are on the precipice of receiving more than just financial increase. Some of you are about to encounter divine healing in your body, reconciling relationships in your family, or a promotion in your career that doesn't even make sense on paper. These are not random coincidences. They are part of the all-encompassing plan God has for your total restoration. In fact, the millions may just be the beginning, a signpost that ushers you into a realm of miracles you never even considered before. Don't be surprised if you see radical turnarounds in areas of your life you'd almost given up on. That's how God works. When He pours out blessings, He doesn't do it halfway. Chosen one, let no one dismiss your journey or downplay your progress. They might say, "It's just wishful thinking," or "You're caught up in some emotional hype." But deep inside, you know this is more than hype. This is God's unchanging truth manifesting in your life. You feel it in the quiet confidence that starts your day, in the tingling excitement that visits your heart at night. Doubters can remain in their doubt. You have chosen a higher path, one that resonates with the sound of heaven's victory. If you've yet to subscribe, do it now, not for vanity, but because each time you receive messages like this, it fortifies your spirit. It's like pouring fresh oil into the lamp of your faith, so you burn brighter with every passing hour. Also, continue to share your stories in the comments. Let the community see how God is moving in your life. Your testimony might be the very spark that lights someone else's fire, someone who's been on the verge of giving up, but needs just one more confirmation to hold on. Keep in mind that the progress you make isn't solely for your own reward. Every barrier you break, every victory you gain, echoes into future generations. You might be the first in your family to experience financial abundance, but you certainly won't be the last. You'll serve as the blueprint for nieces, nephews, children, grandchildren, showing them that the old cycles of scarcity don't have to repeat. In the same way you stand on the shoulders of spiritual giants who came before you, Future generations will stand on yours, reaching even greater heights. The unveiling of your next season is intensifying. Doors that seemed barricaded will open with astonishing ease, almost as if they were waiting for your knock. Destinies sometimes hinge on small decisions. The choice to be consistent, the choice to believe when belief seems irrational, the choice to let go of the past to embrace the future. In your life, these small daily decisions are the stitches weaving together a garment of unstoppable favor. Each time you trust God instead of doubting, you tighten that weave. Each time you declare truth instead of speaking defeat, you add another thread of glory. If you're feeling that surge of anticipation, do not suppress it. Celebrate it. Dance, shout, pray, journal your heart out, whatever makes your spirit soar, because that joyful expectation is another avenue through which blessings flow. The joy of the Lord is your strength, a catalyst that fuels manifestation. You are rewriting your narrative from one of limitations to one of limitless expansion. Chosen one, let's go deeper still. Let's peel back every remaining layer of hesitation so you can see, with unstoppable clarity, the path stretching before you, golden, shining, and preordained. Even now you might feel a flutter of awe dancing in your chest, a holy whisper that beckons you to keep pressing in. That's the voice of destiny confirming that you're stepping into these new realms of abundance is not just a fleeting wish, it's your birthright in the kingdom. It's time to open your hands, lift your chin, and allow God's flood of favor to wash over every dimension of your life. You see, the enemy has always tried to intercept blessings at the threshold. He knows that once a chosen one like you bursts past the gates, you become a radiant example for others still living in the shadows of limitation. He fears the chain reaction of faith that erupts when people witness your transformation from survival to supernatural surplus. And so, the warfare intensified. You felt the squeeze in your finances, your health, your relationships, all strategic attempts to discourage you from believing in the fullness of God's promise. But, beloved, the tighter the enemy's grip, the greater God's glory when you break free. And now you stand on the precipice of an uncontainable release. The dryness of the desert season is giving way to fertile ground, brimming with opportunity. Take stock of your journey. Every tear, every setback, every lonely night served a purpose. It was all compost for your character, fertilizer for your faith. It conditioned your heart to handle greatness without succumbing to arrogance. Some people gain wealth and lose their souls, but not you. Your hardships sharpened your discernment, etched empathy into your spirit, and anchored your humility in the deepest soil. This prepares you for a perpetual flow of resources rather than short-lived windfalls. You won't squander your millions on empty pursuits or fleeting applause. You'll channel them into God-aligned projects that ripple through generations. Because that's what it means to be chosen. You partner with God to bring heaven's solutions to earth's problems. If you haven't already, type 777 in the comments as an outward sign of your inward resolve. Each time you see that number, let it remind you that you're closer to your divine unveiling than ever before. This simple act resonates through realms seen and unseen, embedding your faith into the very framework of reality. Your willingness to declare, "I am ready for God's unstoppable blessing," is a catalyst that sets the spiritual realm ablaze. This synergy of spoken belief and heavenly promise can move mountains, part seas, and yes, release a flood of financial breakthroughs designed specifically for you. Picture yourself standing in the middle of a vast field. At first glance, it seems dormant, as though nothing could possibly grow there, but beneath the surface, seeds are stirring. Your prayers, your affirmations, your moments of unwavering hope, these have all been seeds planted in faith. Now, thanks to the unstoppable wave of God's favor, those seeds are germinating, ready to push through the soil into the sunlight of manifestation. Suddenly, the field transforms into a glorious landscape, filled with vibrant greenery, flowers, and fruit that nourish not just you, but everyone in your sphere of influence. You realize that this is the harvest you prayed for, a living demonstration that you never labored in vain. Many of you will soon notice open doors materializing in ways that defy earthly logic. A random conversation may lead to a lucrative contract. A chance meeting might spark an idea that revolutionizes your career, or a dormant relationship that you thought was over might reignite, bringing reconciliation and fresh opportunity. These are not coincidences. They are divine appointments, orchestrated by a God who wastes nothing. Let your heart remain sensitive so you can discern when a door is heaven-sent versus one that's merely a distraction. The more aligned you are with God's voice, the more powerfully you'll navigate these choices. You'll find your yes to be confident and your no to be authoritative, because you're rooted in the truth that everything you need is being provided in perfect timing. As you step further into this new identity as someone entrusted with heavenly wealth, stay vigilant against any narrative that tries to drag you back into scarcity thinking. Doubt may try to creep in, whispering that this season can't last forever, or maybe you got lucky. Rebuke those lies immediately. Your God is not a God of half measures. He doesn't sprinkle blessings for a moment just to snatch them away. He is a God of overflow, and the blessings he sets in motion are sustained by his own limitless capacity. The only way they recede is if you surrender to doubt or sabotage your own growth out of fear. Yet even then, God's grace stands ready to restore you the moment you awaken once more to his faithfulness. You might recall times in your past when you tasted a bit of progress, but then seemed to plateau or even regress. Those experiences created a subconscious fear that victory might never be permanent. But that was another season, another spiritual climate altogether. This time it's different. This is not a brief victory lap. It's your permanent shift. The lessons learned from those cycles are now your compass, guiding you to steward new blessings responsibly, ensuring that what arrives in your hands doesn't slip away. You've grown in fortitude, in wisdom, in spiritual maturity, and that's exactly why you are being entrusted with more. You are being handed the keys to your own kingdom expansion. Let's talk about generosity for a moment. It's more than a Sunday school virtue. It's a kingdom principle that unlocks continual inflow. God blesses you so that you can become a conduit, not a reservoir. When you bless others, be it with finances, encouragement, or time, you keep the currency of heaven flowing. Think of it as a divine irrigation system. Your field never runs dry, because the water that passes through you is constantly replenished. The moment you hoard is the moment the stream begins to slow. This is why the notion of sowing and reaping resonates so powerfully. What you release from your hand never truly leaves your life. It multiplies and returns, often in more magnificent forms than you can imagine. Some of you may be concerned about the naysayers. Yes, they'll appear. Those who scoff, who try to pin your success on chance or label it opportunism. They might say, "You got lucky," or "It's just a phase." Let their skepticism roll off your back like water off a duck. You're not responsible for converting every skeptic. You're responsible for staying faithful to what God has placed in your hands. It's your transformed life that will do the talking. And in time, even the harshest critics may find themselves humbled by the sheer radiance of your testimony. You'll watch with compassion as some approach you, seeking guidance on how they, too, can break free from the shackles of limitation. Don't forget to celebrate the small milestones. The journey to financial overflow often involves incremental miracles, bills getting paid on time when they used to be late, unexpected checks in the mail, debts supernaturally cancelled, or side projects suddenly flourishing. Each tiny victory is a testament to the bigger wave on the horizon. Rejoice in these smaller breakthroughs, for gratitude keeps your heart open and your eyes alert to how God is continuously at work. There's a reason Scripture says to despise not the day of small beginnings. Every mighty river begins with a trickle, and every trunk of a mighty tree was once a sapling. When you honor the process honors you back with increased blessing. Finally, beloved, know that your steps are divinely ordered. God is not accidental in how He orchestrates your path. Even what appears to be a detour can be a deliberate rerouting designed to preserve you from unseen harm or align you with the right timing for maximum impact. Rest in the knowledge that you don't have to frantically scramble to make your destiny happen. Your role is to remain available, pliable in God's hands, taking each step in faith. The pressure to perform falls away when you realize you're being carried by a greater momentum, the unstoppable wave of God's intention for your life. Now we come to the conclusion of this sacred message. You have absorbed a tremendous impartation of faith, of clarity, of spiritual confidence. A spark has been lit within you, or if it was already burning, it has been fanned into a blazing flame. You are not leaving this moment the same as you entered it. The word has been released. God unleashes your millions. Rise to power, chosen one, and dominate in love and in service. As you step forward, let your head be held high, your heart be steadfast, and your hands be open to give and to receive. This is your time. This is your season. Do not look back at what was lost. Instead, lock your gaze on what is being birthed. A future so bright it radiates the glory of heaven. Comment 7777 one last time if you haven't yet, as a final seal upon your commitment to this next chapter of your life. Subscribe to stay connected with this channel of empowerment, because you'll need continuous reminders as you navigate these new levels. And above all, walk with the confidence that the God of miracles is walking alongside you, cheering you on and pouring blessings without measure. Your grand unveiling has arrived. Step boldly into the fullness of your destiny. May every breath you take from this moment forward resonate with unbreakable faith and unstoppable favor. And may the millions God is unleashing upon you become a lasting tribute to His boundless love and power. Now,